Greetings, everyone. This is Peter Seleni, and welcome to a special live program. Of course, you probably know by now that the United States just hit Iran over the weekend. They bombed their nuclear sites because the United States kept saying in their negotiations with Iran that you cannot have a nuclear missile. Let's just move it here. You cannot have a nuclear you cannot have a nuclear bomb. And of course, Iran kept saying no. That was a red line for them. And so the United States decided to go into Iran and blow up their nuclear sites. And so now Iran is planning retaliation against the United States. They want to block the Straits of Hormuz. Today, Iranian parliament voted in favor of blocking the Straits of Hormuz. And if they do that, 20% of the oil supplies, the world's oil supplies, goes through the Straits of Hormuz. And that could, of course, put a strain on oil, and oil could go up significantly if Iran does that. Now, if they do that, there's something called the Carter Doctrine, which was put in place during the time of Jimmy Carter. And it basically says that if they try to block the Straits of Hormuz, that the United States has the right to go in militarily and take it over. And of course, that'll bring the United States into a full-scale war with Iran. Now, we've been saying here at the BICOG, and we have the videos to prove it. And what I like about the videos on YouTube is that they're dated. So you see, when we did these videos, and we've been saying this for years now, that the United States of America, who leads NATO, is going to go to war, and Iran is going to be destroyed. And now we're seeing the United States just struck Iran at their nuclear sites. Iran's going to retaliate, block the Straits of Hormuz, and this is just going to keep going until the United States goes into a full-scale war with Iran and destroy it. And how did we know these things? Well, because of the biblical prophecies. And we understand where Iran is in Bible prophecy. And I did several videos showing about Persia in Bible prophecy. And you can take a look at those videos on our YouTube channel. One is called Persia in Bible prophecy. The other one is called Judah shall be broken. And I'm on my phone right now. And when I get off this live stream, I'll try and put the links below so you can go straight to those videos that show you in the biblical prophecies that the United States is going to go to war with Iran and destroy it. And now we're starting to see the beginnings of it. See, I always personally thought that Donald Trump will be the king of the North. Now, we know that the king of the North is the president of the United States. But which president? Joe Biden, Barack Obama, was it George Bush? You know, the Bible doesn't give you specifics. It just says that the king of the North is going to go in and save Judah. And I always personally thought it would be Donald Trump. And now we're starting to see Donald Trump make these moves that the king of the North is prophesied to do. So I personally believe it's Donald Trump. Now, is he going to fully fulfill these prophecies? I think so personally, but we know for sure that it will be the president of the United States. Which one? We don't know, but I personally believe it's going to be Donald Trump, and he's starting to do it. Now, we said that the United States is going to go to war with Iran. Here is a prophecy in Isaiah, the 14th chapter. Isaiah 14. God says here about Palestine. He says, "Rejoice not, thou whole Palestine, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. Judah will be broken to the point where the king of the North is going to step in and save Judah. The rod of him that smote thee is broken." And that says, "For out of the serpent's root," that's Judah. What is Judah's root? Well, Judah's root is Britain and the United States. They have their roots in these countries, and they basically, because of the United States and Britain, the Jews have taken over Palestine. So that is their root. The serpent's root, out of the serpent's root shall come forth a viper, and his fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent. He will be even more powerful than Judah. And of course, the United States and Britain are more powerful than the Israelis today. Then it says, the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. That is a prophecy of Judah that you can read of in Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter. And then it says, this is God saying this, I will kill your root. What is the root of Palestine? Well, everybody knows that Palestine, the Palestinians, they are a proxy. They are a proxy of the Iranian regime. Of course, Iran is the largest terrorist organization in the world. They sponsor terrorism around the world, state sponsor of terrorism. And Palestine is a proxy. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, and so on. God says here, I will kill your root. That means that this root has branches. That means that they have little governments around the world that do their bidding, and Hamas is one of them. I will kill your root with famine. And of course, look at all the embargoes that the United States and others have on Iran. And so they are struggling financially and economically. I will kill your root with famine, and he shall slay thy remnant. Who is this he? Well, notice this. In verse 31, howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestine, are dissolved. And of course, we see that today. I mean, Gaza has just been obliterated. It says you are dissolved. For there shall come from the north a smoke, and that in biblical prophecy is a symbol of a huge army. From out of the north shall come a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times. And then it says, what shall one then answer the messengers of the nation? Here is the king of the north answering the messengers of the nation. It says that the Eternal has founded Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it. This king of the north is coming in, saving Judah, and saying that the Lord founded Zion, and the poor of his people, that's Judah, shall trust in it. God says that he will kill your root. This is the king of the north. The president of the United States is going to kill the root. That means he's going to obliterate not the people of Iran, but the government of Iran, most assuredly, for sure, the government of Iran. Notice this in Zechariah the 9th chapter, verse 1. God says this, the burden of the word of the Eternal in the land of Hadrach. And when you look at the biblical commentaries, it'll tell you that that is Persia, Iran. The land of Hadrach and Damascus shall be the rest thereof. And you look at different translations, it means that the wrath of God is going to rest on these two nations. And Damascus hasn't been destroyed yet, but it will. And it says that God's wrath is going to rest on Hadrach, or Persia. And how does God fulfill his wrath in this world? Through his people Israel, as it says in Jeremiah 51:20. God says this about Israel. Jeremiah 51:20, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with you will I break in pieces the nations, and with you I will destroy kingdoms. So the biblical prophecies are clear. The king of the north, the president of the United States, is going to go forth and is going to destroy Iran. And I go through that in my video, Persian Bible prophecy, the Middle Eastern prophecy, Judah shall be broken. All those videos are on our YouTube channel showing that NATO, led by the United States, is going to go in and destroy Iran. And I understand now that on Tuesday and Wednesday, NATO is going to have their meetings. And on Wednesday, Donald Trump is, of course, going to address the NATO allies, talking about military spending, of raising their spending up to 5% GDP as opposed to 2%. And so, of course, they're going to talk about Iran and what's happening with Iran, because the United States struck Iran. And now they're going to bottle up the Straits of Hormuz, which is going to, of course, trigger the Carter Doctrine. And so the United States is going to be in this war. You will see in the very near future, the nation of Iran, certainly the government of Iran, is going to be destroyed. And what's ever left, these Iranians are going to pick up the pieces and move on. But that organization, that Iranian nation, is going to cease to function. It's going to be destroyed. The biblical prophecies say so. Now, if you want to know more, again, watch our videos. Watch our videos on Iran and Judah shall be broken. And remember, this is the next great prophetic event. Daniel, the 11th chapter, verse 45. It says, he, that's the king of the north, the president of the United States that leads NATO, shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain. That's the next great prophetic event. And biblical commentaries will tell you that he moves into Judah because, as it says in verse 44, tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. And east and north, when you look at those two Hebrew words, means Persia, Iran, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. And of course, this fulfilled the war on terrorism. And it's still going on because he plants the tabernacles of his palace because of tidings out of the east and out of the north. And we're hearing them today. We're hearing these tidings out of the east and out of the north of, the Iranians say they're going to retaliate against the United States. That's troubling us. I think the United States, the cities in the United States are on high alert. So they are troubled. They also said they're going to block the Straits of Hormuz. That's going to trouble us. And the United States is troubled, along with the other allies, because of oil. Oil prices could shoot up because of this if they block the Straits of Hormuz. So we are troubled. And it's going to get to the point where Judah is going to be broken. Read Isaiah 22 about the destruction of Jerusalem, and the king of the north moves in and repairs Jerusalem. And that's when they plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas and in the glorious holy mountain. So we are troubled. We are hearing tidings. And eventually, when you see the United States occupying Judah, then it says, he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. The end of NATO. NATO is going to fall apart. And then you're going to see a new power rise called the beast of prophecy. The EU is going to come to an end. You're going to see a new power. The beast is going to arise. And then it says, at that time, when NATO falls apart, the EU falls apart, the beast is going to rise. At that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince that stands for the children of your people, meaning the protection from Michael is going to be gone. And the United States and Canada and Australia and New Zealand, they will not be protected any longer, and the enemies are going to come in. It says, there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. That is the great tribulation, also called in Jeremiah 30, verse 5 and 7, Jacob's trouble. And who is Jacob? The United States, the British Commonwealth of Nations, and the peoples of Northwestern Europe. These prophecies are sure, ladies and gentlemen. Unless we repent, these prophecies are going to come to pass. Now, I urge you to read our booklet, The United States and Britain in Prophecy, for more information on who is Israel in this end time. I urge you to get our booklet, The Middle East in Prophecy. Goes through the book of Daniel, the 11th chapter, in great detail to show you who is the king of the north. And many people in the Church of God today say the king of the north is the coming beast power. They're still clinging on to this old interpretation by Herbert W. Armstrong and others, saying it's the beast power and so on. They don't understand the prophecy of Daniel 2 of the feet and toes, part potter's clay and part iron. There are two phases, potter's clay and the miry clay. We're in the potter's clay phase, which is NATO, the king of the north. So we go through that in that booklet, Middle Eastern Prophecy. I urge you to read our booklet, Persian Prophecy, and our article, Judah Shall Be Broken. And these prophecies are going to be fulfilled. I've been saying for years now, the United States is going to attack Iran. It happened, folks, and it's going to continue until Iran is going to be destroyed. Don't forget to log on to our website, britishisrael.ca, and get all these booklets on our website, britishisrael.ca. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you want to join this YouTube channel, and support it. It's only $5 a month, and you can support this YouTube channel so we can continue to do these broadcasts and videos showing people the prophecies of the Bible and just how close we are to the Great Tribulation, but even more than that, the second coming of Jesus Christ of Nazareth.